Everyone has either gotten a speeding ticket themselves or knows someone who's gotten a speeding ticket. And I'm going to explain why speeding should be legal based off of merit and your ability to drive a car. 42 million speeding tickets are given out every single year in the United States. And the idea of giving someone a speeding ticket is supposed to increase the safety on the road for other drivers. This is because they're implying that speeding is inherently dangerous. But speeding isn't inherently dangerous. What is dangerous is driving dangerously. Now, let me explain. We commonly conflate speeding with being dangerous, but that's just not the case. Instead, the least competent drivers on the road are the most dangerous drivers. And those incompetent drivers, coupled with their speed, is dangerous. The way to understand this better is to look at NASCAR and Formula One. These drivers in those races are the best drivers in the world, hands down. These cars are going 200 miles an hour, and the drivers are mere inches from each other, and they don't get into accidents. Well, at least not into accidents due to their speed. They do get into accidents, but it's mainly due to the fact that they are racing, and how much money they earn is based off of what place they finish in. So of course they're going to be aggressive drivers. But these races are entirely merit-based. Your ability to, control your car, control your speed, and your driving skills just in general are what make you a better driver. And so if you are a better driver, then you can go faster. So the better you are of a driver, the more merit you have as a driver, the faster you can go without causing accidents. These NASCAR drivers that come home after work after driving 200 miles an hour all day and drive 15 miles over the speed limit and get a ticket because they're driving recklessly, they're not reckless drivers going a little bit over the speed limit because they're the best drivers in the world. They know how to drive fast. That's what they do as a living. So now we know that speeding isn't what's dangerous. It is just driving dangerously and incompetently is what's dangerous on the road. This is how I think speeding should be enforced, based off of meritocracy. So the better of a driver you are, the more leniency you have on speeding. While the reverse is also true. The worse driver you are, the less leniency you have on speeding. This is because speeding, all it does is enhances your current abilities on how to drive. So if you're a really good driver, you can go a lot faster and still keep that same level of driving ability. While if you're a worse driver, if you speed, you're just going to become an even worse driver. Right now, that's obviously not how our speeding laws work. It is completely homogeneous type of law enforcement where it's just speeding, regardless of who you are, is what is punished. So regardless of your competence in driving, you're going to get a ticket. And this kind of sucks because that means speed limits constrain competent drivers down to the ability of the worst driver on the road. A merit-based speeding system in which the better driver you are, the more leniency you have on speeding would be an awesome utopian idea, because then that means people who have a higher ability to drive can get to their destinations faster. The problem with this is that it will be near impossible to implement. Because one, you'd have to then take a driving test every single year to see your level of ability of driving, to then accordingly adjust to how fast you are allowed to go on the road. And who's going to take that test? We already know how slow the DMV is currently. Imagine if everyone had to take a test every single year. And for this driving test, how would you even actually accurately assess someone's skills and abilities in driving and know what the appropriate speed limit that they can go? It's kind of easy to distinguish like NASCAR and F1 drivers out of this group because we know those are the best drivers in the world. But everyone else who isn't a professional driver, what speed can they go? How do we know their abilities? We really don't. And then not only that, how does police officers actually enforce this kind of merit-based speeding? How do police officers know who is allowed to speed and who is not? It's impossible to tell. The closest way we can get to this merit-based speeding would be, in my opinion, something like any speed limit over 45 miles an hour should just have no speed limit at all. Or at least on major highways, have no speed limit at all. Almost like in Germany where they have the Autobahn, where you can go as fast as you want. Because speeding isn't really what's dangerous. It's when you're driving recklessly and, swerving in and out of cars, brake checking people, pulling out in front of them. That's what's dangerous in driving. It's not actually speeding.